Welcome back. So, if you've ever tried to navigate a conversation in Portuguese, you already know that pronunciation is, well, literally half the battle, right? Today, we're looking at a fantastic, straight-to-the-point document focusing on arguably the most important topic in any language, family. But hey, we're not just running through a boring vocab list. We're going to use the actual phonetic symbols from our source text to train your pronunciation in real time. We're going to get you sounding authentic. So let's jump right in and learn how to properly pronounce these family words.
You see, the source highlights a really beautiful emotional core right off the bat. These words will help you connect with your Brazilian family and friends. And honestly, that hits the nail on the head. Language is fundamentally about connection. We aren't just making sounds today, we're unlocking a way to relate to people. Taking the time to actually master these specific sounds, it shows deep respect. Keep that why in the back of your mind as we tackle these phonetic challenges.
All right, Section 1, Parents, pronouncing mother and father. Let's look at the very foundation of the family tree.
You can see the visual contrast immediately. For the masculine term father, we have pai, right alongside its phonetic transcription. And then beside it, the feminine term for mother, mãe, with its own unique breakdown. Even just glancing at them, pai looks pretty straightforward, right? But mãe introduces some really interesting new symbols. Let's break these down one by one.
Okay, zooming in on pi. Check out the phonetic spelling there, /PAE/. It's actually pretty straightforward, but precision is everything here. Notice how that I and the E just blend super smoothly into a single syllable. Go ahead, try saying it out loud right now, pi. Let's do it one more time to get it really crisp, pi. Excellent, simple, crisp, and direct.
Now let's look at mother. This is where Portuguese pronunciation gets incredibly cool. Look really closely at that phonetic translation. Ma-e. See those little wavy lines, the tildes, sitting on top of the vowels? In our source's phonetic guide, that explicitly tells us we're dealing with a nasal sound. Basically, the sound shouldn't just come out of your mouth, you actually want it to resonate up in your nasal cavity. So it's not my, it's my. It has this distinct resonant hum. Let's try it. Push a little bit of air through your nose as you finish the word. Mine. Do you feel that hum? Try it again. Mine. Fantastic. Nailing that nasal sound is a huge game changer.
Moving right along to Section 2, Siblings, pronouncing brother and sister. Let's shift our focus laterally across the family tree. Seeing brother and sister side by side like this perfectly highlights some key recurring patterns. Both words start with the exact same root, IRM, but look at how the endings differentiate the masculine from the feminine. The term for brother ends in while sister ends in just Picking up on these visual patterns early on is a massive shortcut for your pronunciation.
Let's focus on brother first, irmão. The phonetics here are packed with clues. First, check out that upside-down R symbol. In a lot of Brazilian dialects, that R is actually pronounced from the back of the throat, almost like an English H. Then look at the very end. We've got another nasal sound, but this time it's a diphthong. That means two vowel sounds are gliding together, finishing off with a W sound. Irmão. It's kind of like saying irmão, but with a heavily nasalized finish. Let's try it together. Irmão. Let's do it once more, really feeling that glide at the end. Irmão. Great job.
Now for sister, irmã. Compare this phonetic spelling to the last one. Notice what's missing? That little W sound at the end is completely gone. Instead, it's an abrupt nasalized ah sound. That subtle shift in the final vowel is literally the only difference between brother and sister when speaking. So start with the same ear sound, but cut it off shorter. Irmã. Let's practice that sharp ending. Irmã. One more time. Irmã. Perfect. It feels totally different in your mouth compared to irmã, doesn't it?
Section 3. Children, pronouncing son and daughter. Time to move down a generation to our final pair.
Once again, there's this really beautiful symmetry here. For son, we have filho, and for daughter, filha. This perfectly illustrates that classic Portuguese vowel shift to show gender. You've got the O ending on the masculine side and the A on the feminine. But honestly, the real star of the show isn't the ending. It's that tricky consonant cluster right in the middle.
Taking a closer look at son, filho, the F and I are easy enough. But then we hit that LH, represented by the upside-down Y symbol. This isn't an L and an H pronounced separately. Together, they make a soft palatal sound, somewhat similar to the y in the English word million. Also notice the very end of the phonetic spelling. There's a U. In spoken Brazilian Portuguese, an O at the end of a word often softens into an U sound. So altogether, it's filho. Let's practice that unique LH sound. Filho. Filho. Feel where your tongue hits the roof of your mouth. Try again. Filho. Really well done.
Finishing up our pairs, we have daughter, filha. We keep that exact same LH sound in the middle. That's not changing. But look at the end. We drop that soft U sound and replace it with an open, clear A. Your mouth actually opens wider at the very end of the word, filha. Take a second to note that vowel change, and let's say it out loud with some real energy. Filha. Once more, nice and clear. Filha. Excellent. Section 4. The goal. Sounding like a native. Because honestly, learning how to spell these words is just step 1. It's not just about passing a vocabulary test, it's about true fluency. Our source gives us a super clear directive. Practice and sound like a native. And we can break this down into a really simple 3-step process. Step 1. Learn the words. Check. We've covered pai and mai, irmão and irmã, filho and filha. Step 2. Practice the pronunciation. This is that heavy lifting we just did, really paying attention to the nasal tildes and those specific consonant clusters, which naturally leads us to step 3, sound like a native. By putting in deliberate practice on these exact sounds, you bridge that huge gap between just reading text on a page and actually speaking a living language.
And that brings us completely full circle. As our source reminded us at the very beginning, these words are tools for connection. So here's the real question. Who will you connect with using your new Portuguese vocabulary? Is it a friend, a partner, maybe extended family? My challenge to you is to take these 6 words, take the phonetic practice we just did, step away from this explainer, and actually use them in a real conversation today. You've got this. Thanks for learning with me, and I'll catch you next time.